Hi, boys and girls. What a perfect day to be reading you or I should say, telling you the story of how seasons came to be. Now, you'll notice I have some friends here because this is a story about lots of animals coming together. And this is how the Northern Paiute would tell this story using that tradition of telling the story. They didn't write the stories down. They had their storytellers, and this was passed down from generation to generation. And here's the story: how seasons came to be. A long time ago, all the animals were called together by Wolf. Wolf was the leader. They all came together to discuss the weather. All the animals that had long fur wanted it to be cold all the time. But all the animals with no fur didn't like the cold. They wanted it to be warm, but they never got their way because they were small. And big animals like wolf and bear had long fur, so it was pretty much cold all the time. Well, Wolf called the big meeting and all the animals got together. Now, when an animal meeting was called, they never invited Coyote. Here's Coyote. They never invited Coyote because, well, sorry to say, Coyote was a total know-it-all. He was the kind of critter who would say things like, "Oh, I knew that," or "Oh, that's what I was going to say," or "I knew that." Always kind of pretending he knew more than he did, and always laying claim to other people's ideas. So Coyote got left out of this meeting. Well, when they were all at the meeting, Wolf told them, "Well, we're going to talk about whether it's good to have cool weather all the time or whether we should let it be warm." Well, first, Grizzly Bear stood up and he said, "Well, I think it should be cold all the time because I have long fur and I like to fish in the water. When the water's cold, there's fish. And when it's warm, the fish go to the bottom of the river and they're hard to catch. So I think the weather should be cool all the time." Now I'm going to go right here. All right, thanks guys for your patience. I'm trying to figure all this out here as we go. Well, other animals argued. "We don't like that," they argued back and forth. And then Wolf told them, "All right, everybody, quiet down. I think we need to hear from the lizards." So the spokesperson for the lizards came and said, "We don't want it to be cold all the time because we can't come out of our homes when it's cold all the time. We can't even come out to look around because it's so cold we'll freeze. So we want it to be warm. And there's others just like us that don't like the cold." Well, guess what happened? All the animals started arguing again. Oh, arguing. Well, while they were all meeting, Coyote came wandering through and he wondered, where was everybody? And he asked, "Where did everybody go?" And he looked around. "Well, I don't know where they went." So Coyote got up and he looked around and he walked around the village, but there was no one to be seen. Finally, he went to the top of the hill and looked down, and there he saw all the animals on the other side. So he went there and he asked them, "Whoa, what are you guys doing?" And finally, Wolf told him, "Well, we're trying to decide whether the weather should be cold all the time or whether it should be warm. These folks over there want it to be cold all the time, and these folks over here want it to be warm." And then Wolf said, "Well, I think maybe we should have it cold half of the time and warm half of the time." But everybody responded, "No, we don't like that." And they started to, guess what? Argue even more. Arguing. Well, as Wolf was sitting there, guess what? Sure enough, Coyote started getting bossy and said, "Well, I think it should be the way that I said. You guys want it to be cold all the time, and you want it to be warm all the time. But I think it should be the way I said it should be, because the sun comes in the daytime and warms everything up. In the nighttime, the moon comes up and everything cools down, and that's half the time. So I think that that's the way it should be. And then everyone started getting annoyed at Coyote because he was, well, being bossy. And then Wolf was standing there. One of the animals said, what animal? Well, we should do what we never did. We should have a smoke. Because back in those old days, before meetings had even started, people would gather together and they would smoke. Don't do it. We know it's not healthy. But this is the olden times. Now, Coyote, but nobody in the group had a pipe and tobacco. So one of the animals, Rabbit, said, Coyote has a pretty good pipe. He has the best pipe in the whole village. And Coyote was looking around him and nodding his head in agreement. Yeah, Rabbit continued, and he has good tobacco too. He makes the best tobacco. I think we should have Coyote go and bring his pipe, and then we'll have a smoke, and we'll think about this. We'll think how it's going to be. So Coyote put his chest out, and he was feeling very, very important because the people were giving him compliments. So Wolf looked at him and said, well, I guess we're going to have to smoke and think about this. Then Wolf said, Coyote, my little brother, why don't you go back to your house and get your pipe? You have the best pipe. You should go get your pipe. So Coyote, feeling quite built up, said, yes, 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 yes. And he took off and went back around the hill, back to his house. But Coyote was not a very good housekeeper. He was looking all over. He was looking up. He was looking down, and he could not find his pipe anywhere. Well, while Coyote was gone, the animals all started talking again. And they thought about Wolf's idea of being warm half the time and being cool half the time. And pretty soon they said, no, it should be 6 months cold and 6 months warm. I think it should be 3 months cold and 3 months warm. And then someone said, 3 months warm and 3 months cold? What about the other 6 months? Because as you all know, there's 12 months in the year. Well, when it gets cold, it has to warm up gradually. And that could take the whole 3 months. Then when it starts to get hot, that could take another 3 months. So that's going to take 3 months for each kind of weather to change. Well, so you guys get it? Kind of like our seasons, right? 3 months hot, and then 3 months to change and get cold, 3 months cold, then 3 months to kind of warm up. What's 4 times 3? 12. 12 months in the year. Well, just as all the animals had figured that out and were thinking that that was a pretty good idea, who do you think should come back? Ha! I see that you were all talking when I was gone. Oh, no, everybody said. We were just waiting for you to bring your pipe back. Then one of the animals said, I think Coyote should bring his tobacco because, he makes the best tobacco. You should have brought your tobacco when you brought your pipe. You have such a pretty bag for your tobacco. Yours is the most beautiful bag any of us have ever seen. And when you take it out, we all like to look at it because it's so beautiful. You always have the best tobacco. It just is wonderful. So Coyote got all puffed up again, thinking that everybody was giving him compliments, and he ran back to his house to try to find his tobacco bag. And while he was gone for a second time, all the animals agreed. There should be 4 seasons. What do you guys think back there? 4 seasons? Yeah, everybody agreed. Everybody agreed. So Coyote took off, again, and went back to his house and was looking for his tobacco bag to show it off because, well, not only was he kind of a know-it-all, he was a big show-off too. And while he was gone, all the animals said, well, that's just how it should be. And then Wolf told all the animals that we'll have 3 months to each season. 3 months of Tomo is winter. 3 months of Tamano, that's spring. And 3 months of Tatsa, which is summer. And 3 months of Yabno, which is fall. Is this the way everybody wants it to be? They all agreed. Well, after they all agreed, Wolf, since he was the leader, said, well, from now on, then that's the way it can be. All the animals will have their own time throughout the year to be on the earth, and things will change with each season. Then everybody started going back down the hill, walking back towards the village. And when they were walking back to the village, Coyote came running back up, carrying his tobacco bag. Where's everybody going? Wait. We've got to get back together. We never finished talking yet. You guys can't do anything without me. But everybody just walked past him, peacefully back to the village. And he told his brother Wolf, we can't do this. We haven't smoked my tobacco yet. But his brother Wolf just walked past him back to the village. And that, boys and girls, is how we got 3 months for each season because of wise and patient Wolf. When Wolf said that's just how it's going to be, and that's just how all the animals know what months to be awake, what months to be asleep, when their hair should get long and when their hair should get short. Even the plants know when they should come out of the ground and be ready for the animals to feed on. And that's how everything fell into the form of those 4 seasons, because the animals made it so. They voted and they agreed a long, long time ago that was how the seasons would be. All right, that is our story of how the seasons came to be. And on behalf of all my little critters and even bossy little know-it-all showing off Coyote, have a great day. Bye, everybody.